How big is this for Kyle to now switch his focus and prepare to qualify for the Indianapolis 500?
See, for Kyle Larson, I think for him, this is just another week because he goes and races all kinds of different things throughout the week. And yeah, this is the Indianapolis 500. It is practice week for the Indy 500, and you're qualifying for the biggest race in the world this upcoming weekend. But for Kyle Larson, he's doing racing nearly every single day of the week as it is. So for him, I don't think he's going to be too phased by it. I really don't. I'm very curious to see how he handles everything and how in his interviews, how because people are going to be asking him, are you feeling overwhelmed? What are you thinking so far? I think he's just going to be playing it very cool. We'll see what he ends up saying. But it's going to be very, very fascinating. And I think it's a good thing for his own mentality and psyche here that it's the All Star race, a NASCAR race that doesn't exactly matter too much. That, like if he needs to focus on qualifying for Indy 500, he can probably do that. It's just he doesn't put too much focus into the All Star race. And even then, he's probably going to go to the All Star race and be a contender for the win there. It, the guy's built different, and I am so, so excited to see him attempt to make the Indy 500.
Guys, I'm torn on this because I get it. From Mr. Hendrick's perspective, obviously Kyle Larson has a day job and has a season that he has to be worried about in terms of a place where he's running full time, and a lot of people depend on him to do that job to the best visibility. But at the same time, I mean, come on now, this is the Indianapolis 500. It's arguably the biggest race in the world. I I got to be careful with what I say here because I love North Wilkesboro. I love the fact that we've opened that track back up for All Star Weekend and everything. But I don't know. I'm trying to picture a scenario in my head where Kyle Larson's in the fast 6 or 9 or 12 or whatever, and he has to skip that to go participate in this exhibition race. I don't know off the top of my head what the schedule conflicts would look like should he make it that far in qualifying or whatever. But I've got to tell you, it's an interesting dynamic for sure. And I got to say, I wish especially given how the race has ended the last couple of years, I wish that it was starting about an hour earlier than it is. I think the green flag is scheduled for 12:45 or something right now. So if we get in a situation where they decide to red flag it again with less than 10 laps to go, I've got a feeling he's probably going to be getting a little anxious inside that car. So it's I think he certainly Alex, to your point, obviously, he's used to crazy schedules like this. He goes and races, extracurricularly all the time. And I guess, in some ways for him that he would have a similar mindset here. But again, it's the Indianapolis 500 for crying out loud. So I think, it certainly requires him to be all in terms of his dedication. And I have no doubt that he's going to give it 110% and run it to the best of his ability. But, I can't help but wonder, what the optics are, if you're letting a race that technically doesn't even count for points. I know there's a lot of prize money and prestige on the line, but no points on the line, and you're letting that race over in NASCAR affect what happens at Indianapolis. It's going to be interesting to see how he handles it. We'll find out here in just a week or so.
Yeah, and that's been something that I've been finding very puzzling with this whole thing because he continues to say that his focus will be on NASCAR. I mean, that is his day job, that's his sole job here. But like it's the Indianapolis 500. Like part of me wonders like do you know how big this is, Kyle Larson? Like I think he knows, but it's also you're going to go run an exhibition race, the All-Star race in North Wilkesboro. No points. It's just for fun. I just don't get it. When the Dale Jr. throwback for today was teased, I was one of the people who's like, oh, like I was half joking, but I was like, what if Dale Jr. is going to run at North Wilkesboro for Kyle Larson? That obviously didn't happen. Kevin Harvick's going to practice and qualify the 5 car and be on standby if something happens. But why are you running the All-Star race? I don't understand. I feel like NASCAR would give you a pass and be like, okay, we get it. Haha, it's fine. But I don't know. I think it's very silly. Your focus really should just be on this. And if you make the Fast 12, even the Fast 6, you should be focused on that. But it sounds like if he makes it to the top 12 in Indy 500 qualifying, he ain't going to qualify that day. He's going to go straight to the All-Star race, which I find very goofy. I mean, you'd be passing up on some extra laps that a lot of other guys won't be getting. But again, we'll see what happens here. I think he's going to do great at Indianapolis. I just do find it a little weird that he continues to say that NASCAR be his top priority when this is like, you know, probably the biggest thing of his career that he's done, and he's done a lot of crazy things.
Yeah. Well, and again, it's a 500-mile race. I don't think his race is ruined if he's starting 12th versus, gaining a few more spots if he participates in that shootout or whatever. But, again, it does, you can be an outsider and look at that. And, if you don't know any better, you might, question whether or not he's, 110% committed to what he's trying to do here to go run a non-points race over on the Cup side. So, again, it's like I said, Kyle Larson is, I think, a generational talent, no matter what race car he gets in. He's going to be a contender, but he's got to be careful with how he handles this situation, because this race requires you to be all in to have a shot to win it.
All in, as long as he's not in the last row shootout, I think everybody would be.
Oh, yeah.
That would be something else. That would be a mess. And
I bet if he's in that, he skips the All-Star race.
Yeah, I would think. Or Harvick at least gets in the car to start the race, and then maybe we have a 2007 Milwaukee situation. I mean, can you imagine that? Kevin Harvick winning the All-Star race with Kyle Larson taking the checkered flag. That would be something. But yeah, I'd imagine he's not going to miss that. But I would hope that he doesn't have to worry about that to begin with. I think he's going to be fine.
Maybe in that scenario, our good friend and colleague Jackson Lambros is going to be so happy because Tony Kanaan will probably qualify in that car. But and that's the only way you see Tony Kanaan in an Indy car again, driving.
I don't know. He teased something on Twitter this week, though.
He's just teasing. He's
having
fun with it.
I'm just TK fans can dream, though, right?